let's talk about multiple warehouse. So it has one extra multi-warehouse. By default, there is a warehouse 1. That's what we're talking about. Everything's warehouse 1. It always is there by default. By default, multi-warehouse is not turned on. Okay, but we could turn it on. And why do we do that? I'm going to talk quickly about it. So, you know, some people say, I want FBA, and that's a separate pile of inventory. Or some people say, I have a drop shipper that has a bunch of inventory. Not in my QuickBooks. I don't own the inventory. I just drop ship to them. So that are some of the, you know, somebody asked me whether I'm going to show QuickBooks and how to do inventory assembly. I'll do that after the question and answer, maybe in private. You know, how to do inventory assembly in QuickBooks is showing QuickBooks. We could do that in a separate separate meeting. So for warehouse, we define separate warehouses, but why? Okay, you know, we have separate pools of quantity, and sometimes we have the same inventory sitting. Both we have, you know, another scenario is we have the same parts we normally stock. If we run out of stock, we could get a drop shipper to drop ship for us. So I want the quantity to be up for that. So I define multiple warehouse. Once you do that, the quantity page slightly changes. Why does it change? You know, once you do that, quantity takes on a different notion because I entered all these quantity, but they're for warehouse 1. I didn't give it a name, sorry. Part A, I have a dropship buddy, and he's got 50 more. Because, you know, when you're inventory, when you use Quick, you know, the way we currently works is, you know, we allow one of the warehouses to sync to QuickBooks and the other one's kind of extra QuickBooks outside of QuickBooks. So we got warehouse ID 2 where we got 50 more of part A. Okay. The important thing is when we go to the listing view is we could assign listings to different warehouses and part A. Well, let me just map this star log 147 to part A. And then we could talk about it. So we have 19 available quantity. Wait, why do I have 19? Because the other ones are not shipped. That's interesting. This is the demo system, so it might be a little incorrect because I think it should be 12, not 19. I have to look at that a little bit. Oh, 12, sorry, not 19. I don't know where that 19 is. I'll refresh. So we have 12 available for part A. I'm going to change the display, put the warehouse ID so you can see. List now, instead of, there's a special link where you could update price, but you could also update. So this is warehouse ID 1. Okay, so we got 12, 12, 12, 12. But what I'm going to say here is I don't want this to be like 12 because I have this buddy, I'm selling his stuff. So we could upload a file to change the warehouse ID. Right now, to yank a listing to a different warehouse is through, sorry, I'm going to choose a file. I prepared a file ahead of time. I'll show you what the file looks like in a little bit. Demo listing warehouse. So I'll actually show you right now before I upload it so you're clear. So let me show you the share window. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet that I prepared ahead of time. There's a few, you could export it. There's an export to give you. Our listing functionality, you could bulk update based on marketplace, seller ID, seller SKU, listing number. You could either give it a new price, or if you have multi-warehouse turned on, you could assign it a different warehouse. In this case, I don't want to change price. I only want to change warehouse. So I have this file. Hold on, let me turn back. So see this, I'm uploading this file. I'm going to upload. Says okay, upload, success. I'm going to show you this, what it looks like now. So now it's warehouse ID 2, and I have 50 available. When you ship, there are rules and whatnot using queues and to deduct from that warehouse instead of the first warehouse. We look at the listing and we look at the order queue. There are ways to do that. But the whole gist of it is you could either assign to listing 1 or listing 2. I mean warehouse 1 or warehouse 2. There's even a warehouse 0. You cannot create warehouse 0, but what warehouse 0 is the sum total of all the other warehouses. So you could do that also. So that's multi-warehouse, and I apologize, I'm 7 minutes late, and that's the demo, and I know I had some questions, but I'm going to open it up for more questions. Any other questions? Hello?
Hey, you there?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. How many marketplaces are you currently able to sync to? I know you mentioned Amazon, eBay, and I think you mentioned Sears.
Sears, 3D Card, and Magento. And Channel Advisor.
Okay.
Okay. eBay, Amazon, Sears, 3D Card, Magento, Channel Advisor. Okay. We're working on buy.com right now. So, okay. We plan to support them all, so I'll add Volusion to the list. It takes us about 2 weeks to add a source. We're working on BigCommerce right now. It should be testable next week. I'll make sure Volusion is added to the next list. Anything else?
Have you determined the cost yet for this inventory management?
Okay. So from a pricing, I want to talk about it. Okay. For our existing customer, we probably will still not charge, other than the QuickBooks integration. If you use that, there's an extra cost to it. For our new customer, and I want to talk about it, we have a new pricing plan in Teapplix now. So let's talk about that. If you look, Teapplix has a new pricing plan that, the existing one we kind of did not break out the inventory, and it's just whatever. Yeah, great. The hardest part is to bring up the pricing page. So if you look at for our new customers, we changed our pricing structure a little bit. Now the inventory manager starts out at 15. Extra 30, extra $45. It tops out at $45. The QuickBooks is similar, but the pricing plan for other channels for the new pricing is slightly different than the current structure. So for, it has certain requirements. The new pricing plan, is predominantly for people that sign up new. The existing customers, all, we're not charging extra at this point. We don't have plan to change the pricing number. You could just turn it on. There's no fee. But we just didn't break it out in the existing pricing plan. But if you feel like the new pricing plan is advantageous to you, you could call support. If you meet the requirements, it requires a secure account, requires you to do Express One, then you could, we could switch you to the new plan also. It's your choice. Again, there's questions of, I think I heard Volusion, I heard PrestaShop. PrestaShop is a very, very brand new integration that we have. We just got order integration linked to Teapplix. So I would imagine it takes slightly longer. I've noted it down. We go by request, but I think we're going to support every shopping cart that supports integration sync, and we would just have to look at the API and see what's available, what's doable, what's not. We already found, for example, on some places pricing are not, like the update price function doesn't work, but that may not be critical for people to be able to change price from Teapplix. The other question is whether we support Amazon International. Yes, we do. We support all the Amazon international marketplaces. Let me see if we have one here. In this account, I kind of removed all the Amazon tokens because I didn't want anything to sync back to. Kind of hard to call, but we do support Amazon Europe, Amazon UK, Canada, US. Multiple accounts is fine. You'll see. Let me marketplace ID. Marketplace ID.
Zhidong, you also mentioned something about, let's assume you have 100 of Part A, but you really only want to show eBay, for instance, that I have 11 of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Thanks for mentioning it. Right now, there's no UI for it. There will eventually be a config UI. You could email support@teapplix.com. So eBay has this mode. There are two things I want to mention about eBay. Okay. You could email us. We could do a per account basis, a max quantity on listings. A per eBay account basis, we could put a max on the listing. Some people don't want to show too many on a listing on eBay. So let's say 11 is the max. We'll keep updating it until 11, and then you sell one, we make it back 11 again. It will always stay at that, whatever max you specified. So that's one thing. The second part of eBay that I want you to point you to, I'm not going to talk much about it. I just wanted to show you the help document. Actually, it's important to show the help document. We're constantly adding this to this. On the managing listing part, please look at on eBay. They have this thing called out of stock control, and it's well worth reading and talking to your listing tool vendor to set this mode. So on an Amazon listing, what happens is you could have quantity reaches 0, and then the quantity, when you get more stuff, you add to it. It comes back. On eBay, normally, quantity reaches 0, you lose the listing. The listing ends, or you lose the variation. You can't add it back. But then there is this special hidden flag called out of stock control, and if you set it, it works just like Amazon. But you have to talk to your listing tool vendor whether they support setting it and where to set it, and so on and so forth. And some people may not want to set it. So anyway, it's important to read that. Again, we have the max for eBay only, and the reason it's done is that we only figured out the reason to do it for eBay. It seems like some of the other marketplaces don't show the quantity. Like Amazon would just say more than 10 available anyway, so it doesn't matter. eBay also has, for some sellers will start out with a max number of listings limit. So they don't want a single listing with a large quantity to kind of take up the quota, so they want, a small quantity. So there is that capability available. Any other question?
Yeah, I'd like to get back to the PO session.
Oh, okay.
Now, when we
PO.
have the PO in there, it shows that it's a credit.
No.
That always shows as a credit?
Yeah, PO is always a credit.
But it's automatically going to adjust.
PO is a receiving additional inventory, right? So it's always a credit.
I'm just thinking, because like you said, with now seeing this warehouse thing that you got, because we do a lot of items that we drop ship. So if I have QuickBooks being the inventory management, I can't have those at zeros because they're going to drop the listing.
Well, this is where putting in kind of a default warehouse. I mean, putting in, you could put a warehouse too with every part number with 5 if you want.
No,
and then all your listings.
Now, correct.
Yeah. So again, the important thing to realize is you can set the listing warehouse 0, which will add up all the warehouses. So you have a floor, right? That 5 is your floor. And you're not deducting out of that. You're always deducting out of your own warehouse, but you always have 5 sitting in some other warehouse.
No, correct. I understand that, but we got to be off of QuickBooks inventory, though. We have to be with Teapplix only.
No, okay. So this part we're still working on, so I'm going to show you this. Okay, this is a working evolution. We intend to make it work for both. So we have warehouse 1, warehouse 2. So I'm going to edit this, show you this. So once you clear it this way, you could still do QuickBooks as inventory master. Your QuickBooks will sync with warehouse 1, and your warehouse 2 is manually entered.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can I have a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I see another question. I'm trying to read. I have. Not sure why you do not support eBay auction beforehand. Add it back if it doesn't sell. Okay, so let me describe, and then there's the quantity 200. Okay, so when we say we don't support auction, we don't sync any quantity to auction. You can't change the quantity on an auction. But if an auction sells, we deduct it after the sell, not before the sell. I think that's maybe the key point here. The next question is how, if we do have 100 quantity in stock and 200 quantity at warehouse, if 100 in stock quantity, how can I change warehouse 200 quantity to location 1? I guess you could do this. You could move between, we don't have really a warehouse, but you could always edit this thing to change it, change the warehouse quantity number. I could always edit this and put it back to warehouse 1. Yes. Or put in another I can't change the warehouse ID. I'll talk to our people. Maybe we make the warehouse changeable, or I could put in a transfer, and I can't show you a transfer. We don't have a transfer right now.
It'd be a transfer.
Let me look at the next thing. It will be great to display a quantity less than what's available. If statement is for the eBay search ranking, larger search ranking brings you up the search. Would the ceiling in quantity? I'll write down. People want transfer. How about the ceiling in quantity? Right now, there's a feature to put a ceiling in quantity on eBay listings. Although it's a per account, not a per listing based ceiling. You can put in a 10 as a max. Even if you have 100 available, it's still 10 on eBay. So we could, for that, maybe we could kind of discuss that in private. What applies for that.